Good afternoon and welcome back. I'm Marcus Peter. Today, the church celebrates a feast day of St. Maximilian Kolbe. Every year, I look at this feast and I try to make sure I remember it ahead of time. This year, it snuck up on me. This year, this feast day has a particular kind of tenderness for my bride and I. 6 years ago today, my bride and I lost our first son through miscarriage. We gave him the name Maximilian because it was his feast day. We wanted our little boy to grow and hopefully be in the protection and patronage of this great saint of our modern age. And so every year on August 15th, it's a feast day for us and a memorial. People usually remember Maximilian Kolbe because of one astonishing event inside Auschwitz, and that's completely true. Here's the issue, though. We can remember the starving bunker and the condemned prisoner, Franciszek Gajowniczek, and him crying for his bride and his children. We can remember the Franciscan friar stepping forward with that one sentence that forever changed modern Christian history. I'm a Catholic priest. I wish to die for that man. That single decision is now one of the defining images of Christianity in the modern world. But even so, when you look at that heroic scene, we have to understand that that moment, that scene, was the result of decades of living daily ordinary holiness. I think we sometimes make the mistake of thinking that saints become heroically saintly in a particular moment. No, it's an accumulation of moments. It's battles that have been fought and won when no one is looking for years before this one public moment draws their valor to public attention. They've already spent years surrendering themselves to Christ. Thousands of small daily acts of fidelity. Kolbe understood that. He wrote, I'm going to quote a lot of his writings here. Do not forget that holiness consists in ordinary actions, in performing your duties towards God, yourself, and others well. Modern Christians don't think of things this way, especially because modernity has digitally globalized us so much that everyone wants to have a great global impact. And truth be told, even before the digital sphere, we all admire dramatic sacrifice. We love the stories of the solitary knight going after the humongous dragon and slaying him. But very few of us think about what Jose Maria Escriva called pinprick Christianity, the faithful daily embrace of the cross. Everyone wants the crown. That I don't think anyone would say no to that. But we forget that the road to the crown is a daily suffering, a daily obediential walk that can sometimes not be as glamorous and yet is no less formative. His entire spirituality rested upon that one conviction. Christian perfection consists in the union of our will with the will of God, he said. Those words are a summary of centuries of Catholic spirituality, and I mean this. From the scriptures, through Augustine, through Aquinas, through Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, sanctity is always daily incremental growth in holiness. Every saint comes to the place where God's will is all that they desire, over and above this personal ambition. And that's what happened at Auschwitz. Kolbe didn't just become courageous in the moment. No, he became courageous over time, daily. He had the habit in his soul, so that by the time the German guards placed him behind barbed wire, he had a soul that was ready for it. John Paul II called him the patron saint of our difficult century. And that still fits to this day. Our age today suffers from many of the same diseases that scarred Europe during Kolbe's lifetime. Sure, our technology has advanced beyond imagination. Our human wisdom, however, has probably denigrated. Our information is multiplying every minute. But virtue still requires the same constant, painstaking, slow, deliberate formation. Our material comfort is growing steadily across the world. Our spiritual endurance, I think that's corrupting. Kolbe diagnosed one of the deepest illnesses of our age. The most deadly poison of our time is indifference. You read that through the lens of our 21st century Western culture, and you realize that indifference of God, man, truth, is what's destroying everything that previous generations built through blood and sacrifice. Families are slowly drifting apart because of indifference. Faith is weakening and breaking down. Nations are declining in terms of a national sense of patriotic identity, and souls are perishing eternally because of indifference. Nope, indifference will disguise itself under every given mask, including sophistication. Holiness, though, we all want that image of holiness with a halo, but the truth is, holiness on earth looks strangely ordinary. And that's why Kolbe understood. The cross is the school of love. That's an overturn of the sentimental understanding of love throughout modernity. And frankly, you're going to hear this in Catholic spheres as well. Many Catholic speakers, types, many preachers even, will push this narrative. But no, marriage requires sacrifice. Parenthood requires sacrifice. Priesthood, friendship, discipleship, daily walking with the Lord, heaven, all of these necessitate sacrifice on a daily level. And if we are honest about it, there's a certain sweetness. The happiness here is in possessing the perfect good in God. Maximilian Kolbe understood that. And so he expanded his lesson even further. Let us remember that love lives through sacrifice. It's nourished by giving. Without sacrifice, there is no love. When I read that, it pierced my heart. Thinking about Max and Mary and all the rest of our children who've passed since, Cora, Jane, Louis. Parents who've experienced the loss of children in miscarriage have a strange form of grief. The world, I think, doesn't want us to talk about it. It's as if the lives in the womb barely existed. Even within the church, we don't have a lot of support structures for them. But the truth is, the moment we find out we have them, we start loving them with as much intensity as we can muster. And so every one of our children has a name before us and therefore before God. And we recognize in Christianity that each one of our children has infinite dignity because they were bearers of the divine image from the moment they were conceived. And that means that we gave our children to God from the womb. And so yes, our first little boy bears the name Maximilian. Every August 14th reminds us that we hope in the grace of God that this child hopefully went into the beatific vision. We don't want to speculate that. But Viktor Frankl, he himself, he's an author. He survived the concentration camps during World War II as well. And he was a master of modern psychology, and this is what he wrote. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And he would write, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. All of this is from his work, Man's Search for Meaning. Maximilian Kolbe embodied that. And that's a lesson I learned and I'm continuing to learn. I can't control everything. You can't control everything. We are going to face the cross, whether by choice or by force. But this fallen world is going to besiege us with suffering. The question is whether we will choose to cling to God or run away from Him, because human nature in its fallenness is tempted to exert control over everything only to realize we can control absolutely nothing. And that's why Kolbe's love of the Lord and Kolbe's love of the Blessed Virgin Mother is quite literally the magnificent devotion we need today, so that we can, like Kolbe, profess that we will never be afraid of anything, and we'll never be afraid of loving the Blessed Virgin too much, because we can never love her more than Jesus did. God dwells in our midst, in the Blessed Sacrament, on the altar. Don't forget to love. So every year on August the 14th, my great exhortation to all of us and to myself, Christ Jesus has fulfilled what it means to be a full human person, and He's shown us the way out of the tomb. Let stories like Maximilian Kolbe's compel us to understand we cannot escape suffering, but we have a Lord who has shown us the meaning of suffering. Stay tuned, I'm Marcus Peter.